Over break, multiple administrative staff changes took place.
And My Valpo is up and running for students now.
And it's a broken record, more and more and more snow. Today's no different. We'll time out when the heaviest snow could reach our region and how much we could see this weekend. Coming up.
We have that and more. This edition of 15 News at 5 starts right now. Thank you for joining us on 15 News at 5. I'm Heather Bricka.
And I'm Lizzie Nosek.
It was just announced this morning that Valparaiso University will be retiring the Crusader mascot. Interim President Erwin Knott started a task force last semester to discuss the use and representation that Crusader had in historical and modern cultures. A survey was sent out and over 7,000 responses were gathered from the campus community, alumni, and others to see how they felt. Taking all of this into account, it was decided that it would be best to retire the Crusader mascot. In the next couple of months, President-elect Jose Padilla will be forming a committee to find a new mascot.
Over winter break, Valparaiso University has announced the new president, Jose D. Padilla. President-elect Padilla has worked in higher education for over 15 years. He has been the Vice President, University Council, and Secretary of the University of Colorado System, as well as serving as Vice President, General Counsel, and Secretary for DePaul University. President-elect Padilla will be working with Interim President Colette Erwin Knott until March 1st, when he will transition fully to President.
And there have been a few administrative staff changes in the university over winter break. Janelle White, the Director of Multicultural Programs, has accepted a position with the University of Chicago. Christina Hearn will be serving as Interim Director while also maintaining her role in the Access and Accommodations Resources Center. She will also be assisted in this role by Professor Liz Werfel. Stacy Miller, Associate Provost for Inclusion and Retention, has accepted a position at Central Connecticut State University. Byron Miller will be serving as Interim Assistant Provost. Assistant Direction of Human Resources, DeAndre DeVete has become a Title IX coordinator for the campus. Interim Provost Rick Gilman will be retiring February 12th. And Eric Johnson, the Dean of the College of Engineering, will be serving as Interim Provost, and Doug Tugaw, Chair of Electrical and Computer Engineering, will be serving as Interim Dean of the College of Engineering.
My Valpo has been introduced to the Valparaiso University community this semester. This platform is to help students be more engaged with organizations on campus and know what events that are happening. My Valpo shows all your organizations, upcoming events, special organizations, social media, and other Valpo news. To join an organization on campus, you simply click on the organization and then join. The Events tab allows students to add different events to their calendar or register for it. If you would like to start an organization or register an event, you can use the Forms tab.
And with a shortened spring semester, here are a few important dates to note. Spring break will be from April 1st through the 6th, with classes starting back on April 7th. The last day of classes will be May 7th, reading day is on May 8th, and finals will start May 9th. Now the last day for finals is May 14th, and grades are to be submitted by May 17th.
This week's poll is out. What is your favorite winter vacation destination? Going to a ski resort, going somewhere tropical and warm, going to see family, or going anywhere life takes you? Head on over to our Twitter page after the broadcast to cast your vote. We have 15 Weather Blake Harms in the studio. Blake, how long will this cold air stick around?
Yeah, well, Lizzie, I can tell you my favorite winter destination is the driveway, shoveling snow, and folks who love shoveling have had their fair share of exercise this week. Yet another round of snow is pushing its way through the area. This one's likely going to stay off to our north. There is one interesting aspect of this, and that's that lake effect band that's been hitting the northern side of Chicago for much of the day today. Travel speeds have been reduced throughout Cook County. It's starting to die off now as those winds are turning out of the west, and we're seeing that steadier snow begin to approach the northern suburbs. We're going to miss out on much of that. There is a winter weather advisory in effect for Cook, DuPage, and Lake counties till midnight. But we do have a steadier round of snow that's going to be working its way through our region tomorrow night into Saturday. In the meantime, temperatures rather manageable considering what they've been for the last week or so. 19 in Valpo, a bit chillier as you head off towards the northwest, single digits over by the Iowa-Illinois state line. Wind chills, a different story, but again, still manageable for us here. Single digits compared to this weekend when we saw wind chills down in the negative 20s. This is manageable, but you can see those cooler values off to our northwest. There's another Arctic blast is going to be swinging through this weekend. With that comes a chance for some snowfall here. This is just the NAM model showing the chance for several inches. We'll get to all that and more snow chances in the next week coming up in just a few minutes.
Well, thanks, Blake. Frontline healthcare workers across the country got the opportunity of a lifetime on Sunday.
And the British royal family has a new addition. Stick with us.
Some frontline healthcare workers across the country got the opportunity of a lifetime on Sunday. They had front row seats at the biggest football game of the year, the Super Bowl. Jennifer Egan has the details on how they got to go to the big game and what they thought of it.
Of course, Brady to Gronk every single time.
Maura Cosman is still giddy. She and 75 other healthcare workers from New England just got back from the Super Bowl.
It's been crazy. It still doesn't feel real even though I just had it happen.
They touched down in the Patriots plane at TF Green Airport in Rhode Island, then rolled up in Foxborough around 4 this morning.
It was awesome, absolutely awesome. The Kraft family, the Patriots, everything was just wonderful.
It was the best game of my life.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
7,500 vaccinated healthcare workers from across the country got a ticket to the Super Bowl. For those from New England, all expenses were paid for by Bob Kraft and the Patriots.
I don't think that there's any bigger way that he could have thanked us. I mean, it makes it all worth it.
Yesterday morning, there were pictures on the field at Gillette, a special send-off at Logan.
I'm going to spin this around so you can see where we're sitting.
Then seats at the big game.
You just kind of automatically feel connected to people, and of course everyone has a different experience through COVID, but in some ways there's this shared experience.
At least for one day, for these doctors, nurses, and technicians, that shared experience was one of pure joy.
It was such a good game, and of course it's just kind of the cherry on the top for Tom and Gronk to win again. I'm from Boston, so it's awesome to see them, born and raised.
Earlier this morning, any one of those healthcare workers who wanted to could check into a free room at the Renaissance Hotel and take a nap. Some decided to go back home because they said they had to go back to work. In Foxborough, Jennifer Egan, WCVB News Center 5.
Scientists say a landslide likely caused Sunday's glacier collapse in India, which sent an avalanche of water and rocks down a mountain gorge, destroying a dam and flooding the towns below. Satellite photos from imaging company Planet Labs show the glacier before and after the blast. Here you can see the impact. Experts say climate change was likely a factor. Nearly 200 people are still missing and at least 26 were killed.
The British royal family has a new addition. Princess Eugenie welcomed an 8-pound baby boy on Tuesday. The newborn, now 11th in line for the throne behind his mother. He is also Queen Elizabeth's 9th great-grandchild. The baby boy was born at the Portland Hospital in London, the same hospital Eugenie herself was born in. The 30-year-old princess celebrated her new arrival in an Instagram post. Princess Eugenie and Jack Brooksbank were married in a lavish ceremony back in 2018. Coming up after the break, Blake Harms will have your full forecast.
And we'll take a look at this past week's Valpo and national sports. Stick with us.
Well, this is every winter lover's dream, a several week-long stretch of cold temperatures and snow. The good news for those winter lovers rather, is that there's no relief in sight. Continued snow chances on and off throughout the next week. Bitter cold is going to continue. We could see lows below 0 both Saturday and Sunday, and there's no relief to the winter weather in sight, at least throughout the next week. Looking at radar, I want to start with this view from Texas. Notice from Austin through Waco all the way up to near Dallas. They had freezing drizzle and freezing rain throughout the day. There was a nasty pileup in Fort Worth that took the lives of 6 people and injured over 60. So this winter weather is ravaging much of the country, and Oklahoma could be under the gun for a winter storm this weekend. In the meantime, though, we're dealing with some snow showers at home. Nothing much in our region. Most of it's off to the north of Chicago. Even had a little bit of a lake effect band that was swinging through the area just north of downtown earlier today. That's since gone away. In terms of temperatures, we're right 19 right now in Valpo, manageable compared to what we've seen over the last week or so. In the 20s right across the state line, Lansing, Gary in the low 20s, and then a bit cooler as you head off towards the northwest, which is typically true, but that's indicative of the cold air that's going to be heading our way here into the weekend. In terms of wind chills, not too much different. I mean, not pleasant, but not awful. 9 degrees here, single digits in parts of the area. A bit warmer by the lakeshore there, 16 in Gary, and it's below 0 west of Chicago, and that's what we have to look forward to for the next several days. In terms of future temperatures, notice how the temperatures don't drop a whole lot tonight. We'll get down to near 10. I don't think we'll quite dip down to the single digits. We certainly will off to the west, but that's pretty common for this time of year. As we head through much of the day tomorrow, we'll likely stay in the mid to upper teens, and that's going to be pretty uniform across northwest Indiana, perhaps a bit warmer off to the east. And then as we head through the night on Friday into Saturday, it's going to be more of the same, but the real cold weather arrives Saturday night and Sunday night when we could see low temperatures below 0. Look at this map of current winter weather alerts. You have wind chill advisories, wind chill warnings. You got a winter storm watch there in Oklahoma, winter storm warnings including Austin, Texas. How often do you see that? Ice storm warnings were in effect for much of Kentucky today. That system's now sweeping through the D.C. region, so an extremely active pattern, and that's going to continue for us. Not anything major, but we'll see that snow continue to stack up. That means much more shoveling is going to be needed over the next week. The NAM model wants to give us anywhere from 3 to 5 inches for much of the region, mostly I-80 off to the north. Still not entirely convinced, but that does seem to be the route that we're heading in. A rather light, steady snowfall for Friday night into much of the day on Saturday. 7-day forecast, I can tell you one thing, and that Sunday is going to be a great day to stay inside and watch the Daytona 500 because high temperatures are going to stay in the single digits. Low temperatures both Saturday and Sunday morning below 0. And notice not any major warm-up here. I mean, 20, I guess, is considered a warm-up compared to what we've seen, but Lizzie and Heather, we don't have much relief in sight. The good news is, end of February, things may look to turn around, which would, I'm sure be welcomed by many who aren't necessarily enjoying this cold weather.
Well, thanks, Blake. It is winter, so it is to be expected at this point. After the break, we'll have a recap of this past week's sports. Valpo sports is officially back this semester, and the sports have not disappointed in the recent weeks. Men's basketball was in action this past week with a doubleheader against nationally ranked Drake. In the first game, Valpo put up a great fight but fell in a heartbreaking finish 80-77. The second game on February 7th, Valpo started the game up 7-2. Soon after, Drake evened up the score. However, Valpo jumped back and held the lead at halftime by 12. The second half saw Valpo hold on to the lead with a huge momentum boost, as freshman Sheldon Edwards had a monster dunk midway through the second half. This dunk would end up being the top 10 sports player play. Valpo held off the nationally ranked Drake to win 74-57. Valpo's first win against a ranked opponent since 2016. Edwards was named the Valley's Newcomer of the Week after the spectacular game. Women's soccer started their season on Wednesday with a 2-1 win over Chicago State. Their next game will be on the 7th of February at home against Northern Iowa. Many of Valpo's sports teams have announced their spring schedules and are about to get into action. Softball will start with a Rosemont Dome tournament on February 12th. Baseball starts on the 19th of February at UAB, and finally, football will be starting their season March 13th at Butler. Now, Super Bowl 55 Sunday was a much anticipated matchup between Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The game was held at Tampa Bay, which made the Bucs the first team in history of the Super Bowl to host and play a Super Bowl. The first quarter was a defensive battle, with the Bucs leading the Chiefs 7-3 at the end of the quarter. The Bucs defense proved to be too much for the battered Kansas City offensive line, as Patrick Mahomes would only throw 270 yards, 2 interceptions, and 0 touchdowns. The Bucs defense also did not allow a single touchdown against the high-powered offense of the Chiefs. Super Bowl MVP Tom Brady would lead the Bucs to a victory by a score of 31-9. This win gives Brady his 7th Super Bowl championship.
Thanks, Heather. After the break, Blake will have a final look at the weather.
The cold, snowy pattern continues. We'll see some on and off snow, a little bit steadier Friday night into Saturday. Could see a few inches pile up, and then perhaps another chance of accumulating snow on Tuesday. Otherwise, the continued cold is going to be the trend. No major warm-up in sight, at least for the next 7 days. So, like I mentioned earlier, I'm loving the shoveling, but I know a lot of folks are getting sick of it, but got a little ways to deal with it yet.
Hey, I have a question for you.
Okay.
This one came in from a viewer. So when do you think that snowfall will stop?
Oh my goodness, that is the million-dollar question. Honestly, it looks like the pattern may begin to change later in February, heading into early March. So, I mean, that's a pretty safe bet that usually when it does stop, but I don't know. You know, we've certainly had it rough over the last few weeks, so who knows when it'll stop.
Yeah, I mean, Lizzie and I were just talking before the newscast, and it's supposed to be a little bit warmer this spring, so that is something to look forward to.
Until then, just keep on shoveling.
Keep on shoveling.
Exactly. If you have a question for us, send it our way on Facebook or Twitter, and we might answer it. You can send screenshots of the forums, questions you've been asked, or questions that you have yourself. From all of us here at VUTV, thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you next Thursday on 15 News.